children. In continuation with the earlier video in which we discussed how to write a magazine article, today we are going to deal with how a speech can be written. As you all know that a very long question is an integral part of our English core curriculum, hence it is an important aspect. So let us start with how a speech could be drafted. Well, children, a speech is a formal talk that a person delivers to an audience. Now, what does that mean? It means that you are going to write while you talk. You are going to address the gathering. You are going to talk in short sentences. You will draw the attention of the listeners. So, in fact, you have to play with words, find the grammatical accuracy, as well as develop coherence as well as cohesion. Next slide, please. The speech will begin with a formal address. This formal address could be to the chief guest, fellow speakers, and the audience. Usually, for the exam pattern, you are asked to address the school assembly. Therefore, our formal address has to be addressed to the school principal, teachers, and fellow students. Now, if the question specifies that it is morning assembly, you'll definitely say good morning. Otherwise, it is always desirable to say warm greetings and greet your principal, teachers, as well as the audience. Next. Begin your content with a brief, catchy introduction. Remember, this catchy introduction means that you could start your content with some example or a question or a hypothetical situation. For example, you are giving a speech on growing pollution scenario as we discussed in the magazine article, wherein it is very easy to give a hypothetical situation talking about 2050, wherein you see a long queue and the people are standing for their oxygen cylinder. Now, children, you need to develop content from the you need to develop content from the real life scenario. So it is very important that you develop some kind of reading habit, which this would bring originality of content as well as richness of vocabulary. After the introduction, you may give a thought-provoking question. Now this will decide the direction of your speech. Next slide, please. Remember to put your content in the conversation style. Put short questions and always use interactive expressions. When we say interactive expressions, I mean to say that with every piece of information, you use discourse markers or phrases like, you will agree with me, don't you think that, I'm sure that you will also have the same notion, etc., etc. And when I say discourse markers, this means a coherent link between thoughts wherein you use words like generally, consequently, additionally, so that a flow of conversation is formed. Next. Always try to include some kind of adequate supporting data. Now, as students, we don't expect you to remember statistics or some kind of concrete data, but definitely trends could be a part of your content. Try to develop a clear style of writing. Always remember that originality of ideas is always appreciated. To emphasize and to draw the reader's attention, you could even put bulleted form of information wherein one-liners could be used. Time and again, we give you a printout of quotations as well as one-liners. Try to use them. This will make your content interesting. Plus, it will draw the attention of the listener and you will make less grammatical errors. Next, please. Similar to the introduction, conclusion should be brief, catchy, and striking. Conclusion could always have some recommendation from your side. Give a piece of advice to the listeners. Let it be a token advice which a listener would take away with him. Next, please. Remember, no title is to be given for the speech, but I always tell to students that you write the question number, give some sort of a heading in the form of speech writing, then start with formal introduction of your topic. Try to avoid abstract phrases and use simple, familiar language. The more simple, the more simpler you get, the better understanding the listeners would have. Next, please. Say thank you at the end. Remember, format is of 1 mark. Half mark is for the opening sentences wherein you greet the audience, you address the audience, and half a mark is for the word thank you that you use at the end of the draft of your speech. Next, please. I always conclude my sessions with an assignment. Like last time, I have an assignment ready for you. This time you are going to write a speech for the morning assembly and the topic is water. Children, as you all know, that water is a very precious commodity and people consider that this can bring wars in the years to come. So you have to draft a speech in 150 to 200 words and you are going to address yourself as Manav or Manvi. Next, please. Children, remember that the marking scheme of the speech will remain as we had in the magazine article. 1 mark for the format, 5 marks for the content, and 4 marks for the expression. When I say content, it has to be relevant, it has to be attractive, plus it has to be coherent. Expression is further divided into 2 plus 2, wherein 2 marks are for grammatical accuracy and 2 marks are for the current style. So keep reading, devote some time for your studies, eat well, sleep well, as well as study well. Thank you and goodbye.